Hello everyone, this is Sebastian aka ScrubX for PokerVIP, and today I will record part 2 of this 4-part series on Guts Poker. He's super short, we have to fold here. Today I will only focus on the play and on the strategy, the strat talk, and let's hope to get into a lot of spots. 3-6, too weak, not gonna open the cutoff with it. Probably wouldn't even open the button with it, but button would be kind of reasonable. 4-7, pretty bad hand. On the top right we're playing a regular table, other two tables are anonymous, as I prefer my tables, as I've already established why I do. Queen Jack gonna be generally an open if it folds to me, generally not gonna 3-bet the offsuited variety, cutoff versus button. Gonna like to take the suited variety there because of playability, and if we take every Queen Jack we're just gonna overly 3-bet. Here we can flat, we can fold, it's probably break even, close to break even, whatever we do here. I'm gonna opt to flat to get into post-flop spots potentially, to get into more post-flop spots potentially. Well, we do flop a flush turn the 4th pair. That's generally not gonna cut it in terms of continuing. Once he fires like really big into 2 guys, we're not gonna call there. Could easily be drawing gets, could easily be drawing really slim, and even if we're drawing live, we're behind. And if we're ahead, I don't know. Kind of hard to be ahead there. Yeah. Queen deuce gonna be a fold in every position and not gonna be a defend, regardless of action, more or less. 9-5, same thing basically. Just gonna let it go. Would maybe defend versus a min open from the small blind, but that's basically it. Queen deuce, once again, pretty bad hand. Just gonna elect to fold the bad hands and play the good hands, and do that for a while and make some money. Ace-8, pretty marginal, could open, could fold. If I knew the players behind are weak and I know that one player behind is weak, we can elect to open it, but knowing that only one player behind is weak, that's not gonna cut it for me basically. If there were like 2 weaker players, I probably would like to open it, but it's like gonna be marginal either way. 9 deuce, jack 8, all pretty straightforward folds so far. Guess I can enjoy a sip of my drink then. While we do pick up a playable hand, gonna open it. Gonna open it to 2.5x, which is my standard. We do flop relatively good. We have a few options. Basically, we can do anything with this hand because of the sheer enormous amount of equity we have. We can overbet, we can bet, we can check raise, we can bet small. He flatting small blind. I think the best option we have is actually betting small. I think it achieves the most. It lets him float the widest, which this hand doesn't mind as much because it doesn't need as much protection. But we still do get protection sometimes, and we still do get spaced on them sometimes, but I get like Queen Jack of spades. That is drawing relatively thin. And yeah. We do turn a flush with a redraw to a straight flush. We will elect to check raise it. If he has a better flush, we have outs. If he has a boat, we do block his outs. He just checks back, which is a really weird line. So he raises flop and then checks back turn. But he tank check back, so I'm gonna assume he has some sort of showdown value. And I'm just gonna go ahead and bet my hand. And hope he has some sort of like pocket nines that gets stubborn, pocket jacks that can't fold type of deal. I just don't think he's gonna bluff a lot once he checks back turn. And he already like tanked a bit on the turn, so I don't know, feels like he had showdown value there. And I just don't think he's gonna reopen action there a lot. Easy call here with the ace jack. Gonna like to check to call down, usually. I mean, bad rivers are a queen and a king. And I guess a 10 is not the best, but That's about it. Or I'm gonna just call. He could easily bet Queen Jack, King Jack. That's a pretty bad river, so some of his bluffs are gonna be like Ace Queen and King Queen potentially, which now get there. And Queen Jack improves. There are less pocket queens though. But like for example, he's never gonna bet Ace Jack on his river, so this leaves me with only his like raw bluffs, which are 7-8 suited and 6-7 suited. If he opens those UTG, which not all players do, and if he's even willing to fire those off on the river. So yeah. So we are looking at 3 combos of aces, 6 combos of kings, 2 combos of queens, potentially all combos of Queen Jack. That's like 9 combos, that's like 10 combos. Then there's like 4s and 5s. It's like Ace 3 suited. I mean, I can easily find like 20 to 30 value combinations. We need to find about, let's say, 10 combinations of bluffs. 6, 7, 7, 8 are only 8 combinations of bluffs. So we basically have to either let him like triple barrel Ace King here for half pot on river. I just don't think he does it. So I'm gonna just let it go. Exploit a fold. Oh, I timed out here. That was not on purpose. I hope I didn't fold a relevant hand. I was just caught up in action on the other table. Excuse me. So let me go into that hand a bit. So on the river, hands like King Jack are not gonna bet. Ace Jack is not gonna bet, usually at least, right? So if he doesn't bet King Jack or like Ace Jack there, what do we beat? We beat bluffs, right? We have like a pretty clear-cut bluff catcher there. That's what our hand does there. So if he's like not going insane with like 10-9 or like King-10 or something that triple barrels. And by the way, I didn't even count like his random Ace Queens and King Queen scaling there because I don't think King Queen generally barrels a ton. So this leaves him with like the really raw bluffs are only 7-8 and 6-7, which might not even always barrel turn, the 7-8s at least, and he might not have those in the UTG range. And if he has a bit of a wider UTG range, he probably has all combinations of Queen Jack, which are 2 times 3, so 6 combinations of Queen Jack on top here. I'm going to check back, it's not a bottom on the range C button. Meaning Kings, Queens, and Aces alone are 10 combinations. Jacks 11, 4s, 5s, another 6 to the list is 17 combinations. Ace 3 suited is gonna be another 3, makes it 20. Some random Queen X's makes it like, yeah, 4, 5 suited potentially if you give him 6, 7. And like those are like always gonna value bet river. That's the thing. All his value bets are gonna value bet river. And like Queen Jack suited, which is like at least 1 combination, and if he has the off suited, it's 6 combinations more. And all of those are going to definitely value bet river. While his bluffs have the chance to give up and might just give up. They also might check the turn, right? 7-8 might definitely check the turn instead of barreling them with a raw gut shot. On a turn that generally doesn't give him a lot of fold equity. From like range perspective wise, I probably wouldn't do a lot of raising on the turn because it's a really dry texture. Hence, I'm still unkempt to have a ton of better hands than Ace Jack there. I have like every combination of Queen Jack, for example. I do have some Ace Queens there. I do have some straight set or some sets or some 2 pairs, and so on. So that's basically it. That's just plus the half pot river bet is generally indicative of value bet. Plus, they actually have been mass database analysis on the 50NL pool, basically analyzing triple barrels and how often they are for value. Granted, I think they were in 3-bet pots and not single raise pots, but it turned out that like 80% of the triple barrel lines are for value. So it's a triple barrel. It's a triple barrel. It's a UTG range. I'm pretty strong there generally, and just combination wise, it's going to be a fold. Can't find enough raw bluffs. And it's kind of hard to see those things instantly in-game. You kind of just get a feeling for those things while playing a lot. By the way, here I defend A7 over what? I think I opened, yeah, I opened it and I'm just going to check fold detection. Just don't have a lot going on, and yeah, I could see but 1/3, but not going to. I'm just going to raw give up there. Try to like see free cards and whatnot. But I would still say the Ace Jack is probably an exploitative fold for bot. At least would, in theory, have to call some Ace Jacks there, but I don't think it really matters. It's an underbluffed spot. he has to get pretty creative to have enough bluffs there. He's not going to value bet worse hands ever. He's not even going to bet chops, probably not, right? I mean, it would take some vicious player to bet. The pocket threes here, it's a pretty break-even defend. Given I don't really give the players here in the pool a lot of credit, I'm going to actually call it, because I think players behind generally are weaker. Interesting flop. We can opt to 1/3 our range here. Once he checks, should have a range advantage, or we can just check. I think we're actually going to 1/4 pot here with a lot of our range. Get some protection, get some value. Should not really raise us a lot here. He squeezes over 1 million people, I'm just going to let it go. King Queen really doing poorly against squeezing ranges in general, even though it's a really small sizing. We're going almost 3-1. It's an extremely bad hand multi-way. It has poor playability. Step shots. We can take this guy as a fish. His sizing is just awful. For $2. He just has Jack 9 off, so we can take him as a whale. 3-bet, squeeze, Jack 9 off over 4 guys into stack of 60 degrees. The ace king guy kind of played it okay. He should just 3-bet pre. But what can you do? The Jack 9 guy obviously insane fish. And now he limps. Let's just take a free flop. Gonna check call this one. Could lead out for a min bet. Just gonna check call turn. Gonna 3-bet or open the ace-7. Just gonna call here. And on river I have a decision. I have a lot of 6x that get here. Might have some. Can we make the extreme hero call? Here we can check up. I'm gonna actually check the ace-7 here sometimes. Can we make the extreme hero call? I just don't think it's necessary versus him. I do think we could be good here. We beat 9-10, we check 10. We beat 1 diamond hands. Only wrapping is 6. Or flush to check back flop. But I think it's pretty unlikely that he checks back flush draw on the flop. Honestly, seeing the Jack 9 squeeze, and just given the nature that there are like a lot of potential bluffs here, I'm actually gonna make the extreme hero call here. Hoping, yep, ace deuce off. Obviously, if he bluffs that, he's gonna over bluff it on. Get own son. Right here, we're gonna call. And potentially fold some rivers, call down some other rivers, but we're not gonna have to. Actually, I mean, given there's a. This is never flat usually, the king 9, but given the whale opens, given there's a fish behind, I actually think we can throw in a flat here for a min open at least. Ace-7 gonna be a call. And on this river, we're gonna check. We do beat pocket 8s now, which generally check back, I think. I have no idea what yet. Flop top pair, generally pretty happy to flop top pairs. Yeah, the 7 deuce is just like to the nature of like him having Jack 9, 9-10, Jack 10 there, 1 diamond hand set all brick, and it being pretty unlikely that he actually does check flush draw on the flop, and then he only really grabs a 6. I'm not really gonna give him credit for that. Let's just bring the 9 or king here and stack the whale, please. Okay. Just gonna defend the pocket 3s. I could 3-bet it at some frequency. If it goes bad call again, I'm probably gonna fold. If it goes bad fold, I mean he bets 1. Okay, I can't fold. Even if it goes bad call, I can't fold. This guy's also capping himself by just gonna check the pocket 3s here. This guy's also capping himself by just calling. I don't think he ever just calls like a straight or like a 2 pair or like a set here. So he usually just has a draw like a pocket 7s, pocket 8s, or worse 9. So we can easily be ahead here. We're gonna call. 4 straight on the river, not the most scary 4 straight in the history of 4 straights. That's min. We're gonna call, besides if this guy raises. Okay, we're gonna call. We'll probably win here, honestly. I think we're gonna win here, honestly. I don't think there's value in raising. I mean, on the 4 straight, he's just gonna check down the 3 stack my shot. Cool. Yeah, just don't think there's value in raising on the 4 straight here, given it's multi-way. Happy to just take it down there. I mean, this guy's obviously playing outrageous, so happy to be at the table with him. Here, with the recreational behind in the big blind, I'm just gonna flat the pocket 8s, else I could also 3-bet, I could also fold. All 3 options are on the table, all 3 options are somewhat marginal. By the way, I do have a new microphone. That's why this video was a bit delayed to the first part. I hope the microphone quality is okay, because my old one broke. and I tried out these clip micros, as you can see here. They're like pretty cheap. This one just costs around $8, but I heard that the quality is actually amazingly good in terms of like the value you get out of the $8. I call here, and I'm gonna check for river. So yeah, trying it out. I tested it a few times, and on my end it seemed pretty good in terms of like volume and clearness, I guess. Just gonna fold here as said. But yeah, maybe you can let me know if the mic quality and volume were okay. I put the mic boost to plus 20 decibels, which, hope I pronounced it right. In German it's decibels. I'm assuming in English it's decibels. Don't really know. Anyways, enough of the random ramble. Let's get back to the strat talk. But yeah, hope the sound is fine. Queen 7, min open, not gonna defend, rake destroys this hand, extremely poor playability. Fuck this hand. Let's make it that bold. I hate Queen 7 off. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't hurt the feelings of that hand too much. Maybe Queen 7 off hates me as well. You never know. Queen deuce, probably gonna just open if it folds to me, even though it's really marginal and like pretty iffy. Borderline. Jack 8. I'm always tempted to 3-bet these hands, but it's just a bit too weak. I mean, I would continue with Jack 10 in one way or another. I'm just gonna fold to Jack 8. Let's not get too out of line. We could. It's like not awful, but it's also just not that good. Yeah. Just on that note, by the way, if you're ever wondering like to buy a new headset, what I found out with my research is that buying an actual like just a headset without the microphone, and then buying such a clip microphone just gets you way more value for way less money, basically. So that's what I'm trying out now. Hopefully I'm pleased, else I'm gonna chip it back with Amazon. Or just keep it because it's just $8. King 9 probably gonna defend blind versus blind. 3-7 off, just gonna fold. 3-4, well, we would have had 2 pair here. Pot brewing, didn't really see the action. Let's see the end of the action. $5 seems like a value heavy bet here with like an over pair. Assuming you 3-bet up, I got called and then just called once and fold a turn. Oh, 6-7 versus Queen 4. Combo draw versus combo draw. With the pair holds. The whale gets it in with Queen 4. We are really sad that the whale just... Please rebuy. Okay, we are gonna... The thing is, if we isolate him, he's probably gonna ship it a decent bit. Not thrilled to stack off for 20 blinds, I guess, but I could also over limp it. There's also this fish. I'm actually like, usually I would isolate this hand, but given the stack bet, I'm actually gonna just limp it. Play a pot with the 2 fishes. Just try to first see my top pair and then stack the fish. Or the whale rather. Queen's gonna stack off in these positions. I'm gonna... well, not call 2x pot here. Close to 2x pot. Yeah. There was like a bit of like a dynamic thing. Like if he was 100 blinds short, I not so short. If he was 100 blinds deep, I would just isolate them. But given stack depth, I think just isolating is not that good. For min, I'm gonna see a flop with a7. Apparently not. 3-4 is not gonna see a flop. 3-7 is also not gonna see a flop. I'm sorry, but those hands are pretty trashy. Let's look. Let's root for the whale. Always root for the whale. Nice. Every cent the whale has more, I'm happy for it. Now just give me some hands to play versus him. I don't even need a lot. Just give me something playable and I'm gonna throw it into the mix versus him. Because he's like that outrageous. A7 off, 3 centered open. Not the best hand, but This is a board I'm actually not gonna range c-bet on. A lot of people are opting to range c-bet this for 1/3. It's actually not that good to range c-bet those boards. People are overdoing that, and people don't realize that it's like in theory not that good, and in practice it's okay, I guess. But I'm actually gonna check it. We don't turn additional equity. And he bets pretty big. We can just fold. And opening the ace-4. Happily so. The ducks probably gonna see a flop. Besides if he 2-bets again, which is so far has done a decent bit. Oh, the way it is out, that's an unfortunate result for us and everyone involved. Gonna open 8-7 because it's a weaker player. Generally not in my standard opening range, but given the weakness of the player, I opt to open it. Gonna check call the flop. Give him a chance to step wide. Let the pot be small. On the turn I'm probably gonna check call again because he's a weaker player and he's probably gonna bet too many hands here. King 9 without a read I'm not gonna fill back, but with a read I could. I'm gonna call because there's a chance he bets like pocket 5s here randomly. I don't know. As a weaker player I'm just gonna call here, and I'm probably gonna still fold the river because if he bets pocket 5s here he's always gonna snap check back river. That's a blank. I'm really like, he's not gonna value bet a 10 on this river. Yeah. Like, what do we beat there? I don't know, but I just have seen that movie before and I just know they stepped there too wide. Without any known weaker players behind. If there were weaker players behind, I would flat the 9-8, but given I don't know if there's any weaker player behind, I'm just gonna opt to 3-bet it. I'm gonna fold the jack 2s even for min because it's that bad overhand. We get cold called, which is indicative of a weaker player. Even though you can sometimes cold call, it's usually just the weaker players doing it. Hoping to not get forward here. Usually we could flat a forward, but given there's the cold call behind it, the forward's gonna be so huge and the SPR is gonna be kind of small. We wouldn't. So generally we would see with a lot of range here, but besides some really weak backdoor straight opportunities, we don't have a lot here, and I don't know, I'm just gonna give up. Hope to turn 7 and 9 or an 8. Generally just check folding. I mean, he should not really bet this. I mean, it's just, do you really cold call ace king there? I mean, it's kind of what you're telling us. Betting jacks is pretty awful, given that this guy has a lot. So kind of wrapping ace king, which generally should cold forward and not cold call ever, but it's possible. And the other guy folds, and we fold. Kind of straightforward hand, kind of sad. You could flop a lot of cool things with 9-8 of clubs, but that's not gonna be a... yeah, not that flop. That's not a good one. Queen Jack, waiting for this guy to... I don't know. Maybe just fold? You're gonna max tank and then fold? Okay, gonna just attack him as a weaker player because he limps the button. Gonna check, realize my equity, hoping for a check on the flop by him. He min bets. I'm tempted to station here. Well, if we bet the king jack sometimes here, and it's gonna be one of the times. I'm not gonna station the jack high. Will I? No, I just have way better hands. Microwaving lagging a bit right now. It's not on my end, it has to be on their end. So this guy cold calls. I mean, let's just flop a pair, and then we are like, oh man. His cold call range is probably going to be way too wide as a weaker player here, hence I'm going to just take a stab on a flop. Hoping to take it down. We obviously do block the queen in terms of we block king, queen of diamonds, we do block some queen, jack offsuited, we do block some flush draws, we do block some backdoor floats like ace, king of diamonds. I'll call the basically top pair here. And we can turn some equity giving cards, and yeah. Just hoping to take it down here usually. I mean, these guys are just cold calling too wide. Here it's gonna be interesting. He has a bunch of ace-x, and usually if he barrels again here, he's not gonna bluff. This is an underbluffed spot. because I can easily have an ace still as well. His sizing looks really value-y. He probably has every combination of ace deuce off through ace 10 off. We do block some of the bluffs with the queen. We don't really block a lot of value. Is he really gonna bluff here? It was also multi-way. I'm just not gonna give him credit for bluffing here. The king jack got through, that's cool. He could have bluffed, he could have definitely bluffed there, but it takes some sort of like aggressive player to bluff there, and it was a three-way situation. It's not really a board he's prone to bluff a lot on. We do block some bluffs, and we don't beat any value. There's like basically no chance he bets like jack 10 there on the river. Just gonna overlimp this. So yeah, I'm quite happy with my fold here. Like, this is a spot which is perceived as like a standard call-off, but you're gonna just lose a lot of money on it because people have an abundance of ace-x in their range. It's ridiculous. If you look at their pre-flop range, it's just like, yeah, they could have a bluff there, but then again, they have so many ace-x, like, I don't know, 40 to 50 combinations there, maybe? 40 plus, I think? And then just come up with enough bluffs to counter that, right? I mean, he's completely uncapped. He has like ace 9, he has ace jack, he has every ace x besides like ace king and ace queen, because those probably 3-bet and ace queen might not even. And then he has like 9s in range as well. So basically, we're gonna just check on the 9-7 here, hope to win. Do we have a pair? I'm not gonna call it that. We are not good here. Yeah, 2 pair. So basically, on the river, we need to find about at least like 20 bluffs, 20 to 30 bluffs or something. Is that correct? He has like 40 to 50. I think it's like 20 to 30 bluff combinations we would need to find them. Not really sure what the sizing was, but I think it was around that. So basically, let's just say it's probably around that area. We need to find 20 to 30 bluff combinations there. And try doing that. Yeah, it's possible. But as said, you need a guy that already steps the turn kind of wide versus 2 players on a board pair. It reduces like his implied odds, and it reduces like the strength of his draw if the board is already paired. And then you also need him to bluff the river for a sizing that generally is pretty value heavy, because there's roughly around half pot. So basically, I just go through the data points I have in the hand. It was multi-way on the turn. River aggression is generally really low. I can have better hands. His range consists of an abundance of better hands, and we need to find a lot of bluffs. So I just fold. So there's a pretty big race here on the top left. I would be shocked if this is not a relatively good hand. What are you tanking with? Is he tanking with a straight now? I mean, potentially. Tank some straight. Flag with a jack. So he posted and then he raises. I'm just gonna abuse that and just 3-bet kind of wide. Because I don't know, I think he's gonna overly defend his post because, oh my god, I already have money in, so let's put in a bit more in. So ace-10 generally should be ahead of that range. Plus, I should have folded agree. And he should not fold it a lot. I mean, if he really posted and then just got dealt like kings, take the money fam. But I think that's just gonna happen a lot. And if I'm wrong, I'm willing to pay the price. By the way, as always guys, if you have any questions about a certain hand I played or about a certain thing I said, write them in YouTube comments or PokerVIP comments. I'm basically always gonna respond to those and try to explain it furthermore why I did certain things. And it's also certainly possible that maybe I agree with you. Maybe you say like, I would have done XYZ and I say, oh yeah, that actually makes sense. So never feel shy about doing that. So video approaching the 30-minute mark. Gonna probably Turn it off soon. Checking the queen 6 here, no reason to isolate the hand, just gonna check and realize, just gonna check call once and then fold. Ace 10 somehow gets in with queens here for not a lot of blinds. Oh, to export, I'm sorry mate, you take it, you take it. You just take it. Don't mind me, I'm just chilling. Don't mind me. Gonna just play until the next BB and then cut the video. So hope to get into some more spots. A3 gonna be a fold, 9-3 gonna be a fold, queen 5. Let's push towards an open, 2 weaker players behind. Let's just open it. Oh, not gonna go over that, over the top there. Ace jack, gonna generally be played. I'm usually free-betting this hand. Has pretty good blockers, decent playability if it gets called. And generally those type of 3-bets in these positions here get a decent bit of credit. Not gonna face a bluff 4-bet here basically ever. So if he bluff 4-bets, he takes the hand, but he's just not gonna do that a lot. Get cold caught by the weaker player again, which with this hand is not happy, but it's okay. Let's just flop top pair and then we are usually quite happy. Even though with this hand flopping like an ace can be somewhat dicey. And we miss top pair again, which happens a decent bit, but it's always sad. Just gonna check fold. Not gonna start bluffing here. No equity whatsoever. More do a pot, 3-bet pot. Gonna be really cautious here. I'm just gonna fold. Oh, here we end the big blind on the top left. Just gonna sit out. Oh, he gets check raised. That's interesting. So the button player quite often has like jacks or queens here. Guess he just stabs like 9s or 8s there or something. Oh, I guess we're not gonna wait until the next big blind. Just gonna sit out anyways on the top left. Just gonna play one more hand. Oh, just made the frame smaller. Just gonna check the a6, realize my equity. Not gonna isolate this junky hand. Leads into 2 players. I have some junky backdoors. Not worth the investment in my opinion. Given there's a player behind, given he leads into 2 guys. Okay, gonna play the ace-3 and the next hand that comes in the bottom. King 8, easy fold. Ace-3, kind of easy 3-bet. Let's not get cold call again. Let's not get 4-bet. Cool. So yeah, any questions, any feedback, any comments, write them in the comment section below. If you're interested in private coaching or something, contact me. And I hope you will be back for part 3. And hopefully part 4 as well. So that was Barber Scrub X for PokerVIP. Goodbye.